Hello, Olympia. Today we're talking about the October 8th, 2024 Olympia City Council meeting, and it was long, and I'm pretty sure half the planet was actually here. Usually we do this in like 10 minutes, under 10 minutes, but I think we should give ourselves an amnesty because I'm not going to wear a stupid hat and I don't want to be punished, but I don't know how we're going to fit that into that little 10-minute box.
Yeah, a little grace is due. Yeah, girls are tired. And so this is going to be Council in 10-ish today.
All right,
All right, so with that, this is Council in 10-ish.
For the record, I'm Kelly Purse-Brossett.
And I'm Susan Grisham.
So if this is your first time joining us, Council in 10 is our attempt to recap the council meeting that happened the night before in under 10 minutes, but we're not going to do that because we can't. It's physically impossible. So
if you were too busy watching videos of Moodang the baby hippo to watch an entire meeting, Council in 10 is a show for you.
All right. So let's get to it. All right, Susan? Boom.
Okay, so all of our council members were present last night, and under announcements, Mayor Payne started the meeting by sharing some clarification on the work the Finance Committee and the Council are doing to consider a workers' Bill of Rights, which includes minimum wage, fair scheduling, and workplace safety. At this time, no decisions have been made regarding a specific minimum wage or an effective date or an implementation plan, but the Finance Committee is in the early stages of developing a thorough and thoughtful process to include research, data analysis, listening sessions with a broad diversity of community members and business owners. And the full City Council will actually discuss a draft of that engagement plan, including a process and a timeline at their study session on October 22nd.
Yeah, and you know, this is the topic that brought a lot of people to Chambers last night, and the mayor and the council made a point of apologizing for surprising the community with the topic and the way that it happened, and assured them that they were moving to a thoughtful process that involved them and where they could hear from the public. So yeah, pretty cool. All right, so then we did something unusual. We moved to, well, after approval of the agenda, consideration of a couple of state ballot measures around climate. These were resolutions expressing the City Council's opposition to Washington State Ballot Initiative number 2066, which concerned regulating energy services, including natural gas and electrification, and also State Ballot Initiative number 2117 concerning carbon credit tax trading. Both of these were presented to council by Pamela Broff, our Director of Climate Programs, and the council voted unanimously for the resolution to oppose both the initiatives. This process of a public hearing around this is the only way that the council can legally weigh in on ballot measures and be within the state's public disclosure laws. And we want to be within the state's public disclosure laws, so that's all we're going to say about that.
So after that, we moved on to special recognition. So the council read a proclamation recognizing Indigenous Peoples Day, and Squaxin Island tribal leadership spoke to the significance of the relationship between the city and the tribe, but also invited the community to attend the Indigenous Peoples Day event taking place at Squaxin Park on Monday, October 14th at 11:30 a.m. That's always a wonderful event and not to be missed.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, and then we moved on to another special recognition, which is a proclamation recognizing Hindu Heritage Month. The council members read a proclamation honoring the month, and members of the Hindu Swaman Sivak Sang organization spoke to the presence of Hindus in Olympia and their contributions to the community. They've also built a worship center on the west side and invited the council and the community to join them in Hindu celebrations that happen throughout the year.
It's pretty cool. This is the first time the council has acknowledged and recognized Hindu Heritage Month. So they made a point of that, and the folks were pretty happy. And they also made a point of recognizing the contributions of Hinduism to our culture, things like yoga and meditation and the whole balancing of body and spirit. Sort of cool. It's cool. Really cool thing. It was a really well received and a fun group of folks to bring us. Yeah, we like those happy moments. So then we went into public comment. Talk about happy moments. Went into public comments. We had a lot of people. We had 60 people sign up for public comment in person. So we had a full chamber and a full lobby full of folks. The vast majority of those who were speaking was around the question of the minimum wage. We had to split this. So the first set of folks, we tried to get as many in a half an hour that's set aside for public comment. There was a little bit of excitement as we transitioned out of public comment to the next item, and we took a little 5-minute recess. But we heard a lot from the community on both sides of this issue.
Yes,
a lot of passion.
yes.
And then we moved to the consent item. They moved pretty quickly through the consent item, but they took a little time to slow down and talk about one item on the consent agenda, which is a historic vote for the council to approve an interlocal agreement for the Deschutes Estuary Restoration Project. And the partners in this interlocal agreement are the Squaxin Island Tribe, the City of Tumwater, Thurston County, the Port of Olympia, LOT, and the State Department of Enterprise Services. So it's a big, wide, important, and cool partnership that's going to change downtown.
Yeah.
How we look and set the Deschutes free. So.
Yeah. If you want more details about that, you can watch last week's study session, and there was a whole presentation on that. So,
absolutely. Very cool.
And then we moved on to another public hearing, and this was around a grant application to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to pursue funding for affordable housing. Housing Program Manager Jacinda Stelchis shared an overview of the pathways to removing obstacles to housing housing grant. And this would be the second year the city applied for these funds. And the proposed activities include providing capacity to build support to the Thurston County Land Trust, providing capital funding to create and preserve affordable home ownership units, and providing resources to help low-income households to become homeowners. The hearing was held and several people spoke. There is a chance to share your feedback regarding this grant until Friday. And then I believe it comes forward to council fairly soon for approval.
Yes, and I believe it's due to HUD October 15th.
Yes.
So they're moving pretty quickly, but it's tackling the housing affordability issue in all the ways that we can. And then we had the marvelous senior planner Joyce Phillips come before council to talk about the capital facilities plan, which is a regular part of the budget conversation that council has this time of year. And this was the capital facilities plan for 2025 through 2030. And this plan identifies a whole slew of capital facilities needs, things that need to be developed, that need support for growth. They include things like across the city, things like the Armory renovation is in the plan. The development of the Grass Lakes Park, sidewalk maintenance and development, chip seal projects on the street, work to connect bike trails, and a whole slew of stuff around water infrastructure projects. So it's a really important plan, and Joyce does a wonderful job presenting it to it. Makes it very clear. And then the final other business item was a budget update from City Manager Jay Burney. He was updating council on the 2025 preliminary budget. and the progress of that work. And he talked about some of the enhancements that are going to be even though we're, it's a tough budget. There are some things that need to progress and proceed. So there are some things that are some enhancements that are going to be added in. And so, so this was a good update as we move through the ongoing budget process in the city.
And there'll be an upcoming council study session on the 22nd to dive deeper into budget. So then we moved on to what is kind of a rare occasion. We had continued public comment towards the end of the meeting.
I can't believe people stayed.
Yes,
And it was still a pretty full house,
yes,
even that late in the evening. Yes.
And then, council moved on to some reports, city manager report, and then we adjourned at 10:08 p.m.
Do we hit our button? There we go. Here we go. All right. So it adjourned at 10:08 yesterday, but it felt like it ended about 10 minutes ago for me because
we were just here.
We were just here. I felt like I've spent a lot of time the last 24 hours right here in this room. So I want to thank you all for joining us. If you're watching this live, you can stay tuned because the council meeting we just talked about, all 500 hours of it, will follow this broadcast, or you can watch it and anything else we put on demand anytime on OliTV3.com. And of course, I always urge you to download the Oli TV app because it's really good and we want you to do that.
If you want to catch a council meeting live and in person, hang out with us a little bit. We're always here most Tuesdays at 6 p.m.
And we'll save a seat for you. We'll pull them out of the closet even. So, and with that,
we're adjourned.